Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining this webinar on Harvesting Awareness, Soil Events and Distinctive Awards. Before we start, I would just like to remind you that you can intervene anytime and also interact with the panelists by following the instructions that you see on screen. Therefore, you should be able to use the question and answer control on your screen on the Zoom windows, as well as raise hand control, which will allow you to directly interact with the panelists. We will allow you to unmute yourself and therefore to ask your question in person. To interact with other participants, you can also use the chat box. And if you need some support in terms of understanding or better understanding what has been said at the webinar, you can also activate the show caption. This will give you some live transcriptions on what panelists and also the moderator are saying. So I think we can start the webinar right now. Please allow me to share another screen. And therefore to introduce you to the Asian Knowledge Hub on Sustainable Soil and Land Management. As anticipated, it's a pleasure to be with you today. My name is Ms. Lucrezia Caon. I'm the Land Management Officer of the FAO Office for Asia and the Pacific. And this webinar is organized by the Office for the Region, the FAO Office for the Region, as part of implementing the Asian Knowledge Hub on Sustainable Soil and Land Management that was lately developed. Telling you a bit more about the Asian Knowledge Hub, this is a knowledge hub that was developed to facilitate the exchange of knowledge and experiences on sustainable soil and land management in the Asian region especially. It was developed to enhance the capacity of individuals and organizations in implementing sustainable soil and land management practices, and to facilitate the identification of knowledge and technology gaps that can boost research and development activities. Not last, it encourages the adoption of proven methods while inspiring innovation in sustainable soil and land management. That's why we really care of having you all at this webinar. We hope that the experience shared by our panelists will inspire you to undertake new activities in your country, or even to improve what you are already implementing in your country. And ultimately, the discussion around the implementation of the webinar and its use meant to support project formulation and implementation activities. The hub is an integral component of the FAO strategies to advance sustainable soil and land management in Asia, and it reports and describes countries' original engagements to assess, monitor, preserve, restore, or enhance soil health. As well, the hub reports about United Nations contributions to the topic in terms of equipment, online applications, certification systems, training systems, awareness raising systems, and other. However, please note that the hub does not report about project and research studies. The information were collected using a participatory approach that involved the public sector, non-profit sector, academia, and research institutions, as well as intergovernmental organizations. And its use and the tools reported in it are meant to support the work of a large range of stakeholders, including farmers, local communities, extension agents, policymakers, project managers, researchers and academia, and even the private sector. With this said, I would like to inform you that the hub is currently under development in terms of online platform. However, we already decided to initiate a webinar series on its implementation and use. And this is why when we share the concept note and the agenda for this webinar, we also enclose the description of the tools that the specific webinar will discuss about. The hub is open access. It will be developed to be an open access live tool, so that if you feel inspired by this webinar and the ones that are to come, you can still send us your contribution. So if you have any experience that you feel like sharing with the regional community of Asia, please contact me. You see my email address on screen, and I will be able to discuss with you about how to best include your contribution in the regional hub. The information in the hub are, and then will also be organized in its online version into 5 categories, depending on their core scope. Scope 1 is about soil assessment, monitoring, and mapping, and these include soil sampling, soil analysis, data analysis and interpretation, and digital soil mapping activities or tools. Scope 2 is about policy. This includes charter, guidelines, and recommendations developed to support countries on policy development, instruments to support countries on achieving and reporting on international targets, and so on. The third scope is on investment, and this is intended as actions and tools that trigger investments at the national, regional, and global levels on soil. Scope 4 is on field activities. These include the capacity building efforts for the transfer of knowledge, but also technology, data, information, and other. The last scope, that is the one under which this specific webinar is organized on, is communication. This scope includes awareness raising, technical and scientific cooperation, and networking activities. So as I anticipated, this webinar falls under Scope 5 on communication, and it specifically aims to promote the establishment of the effective use of national certification schemes of good practices. Today, we have the honor to have a representative from the government of Malaysia to tell us a bit more about their national certification systems of good practices. Then we also have distinguished speakers from India, but also the Global Soil Partnership, to tell us about the World Soil Day and the related awards. Not last, we have another speaker that it's a pleasure to have from the government of Thailand that will intervene at the time we talk about the World Soil Day Award and the related celebrations, as this strictly related to the work that the government of Thailand is promoting. Again, I thank you all for being with us today, and now it's a pleasure to introduce you to the first speaker, Ms. Sahaya Binti Azri from the government of Malaysia, that will present about the national certification schemes of good practices of Malaysia. Ms. Sayara is a Senior Principal Assistant Director at the Farm Certification Section of the Crop Quality Control Division of the Department of Agriculture in Malaysia. She holds a BSc in Bioindustry and served as Agriculture Office in several divisions at the Department of Agriculture since 2005. In January 2022, she was promoted to the current position that implies looking after good agricultural practices certification schemes. Ms. Azri, thanks for being with us today. The floor is yours. I will stop sharing my screen so that you can start your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lucrezia from FAO. Okay, let me share my screen first. Can everybody hear me? Yes, okay, good. Okay, thank you for the invitation from FAO. Today, good morning, good afternoon, Assalamualaikum, everybody from around the world who will be listening and join us in this webinar. I'm very grateful to be able to share with you all about what our Malaysia doing in promoting sustainable agriculture in our country. Today, I will be sharing with you all about our Malaysia Organic Certification Scheme and Malaysia Good Agriculture Practice Certification Scheme. Okay. as mentioned earlier, I'm from Department of Agriculture, and we're speaking on behalf of Government of Malaysia. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about our country. Okay, Malaysia is located in Southeast Asia, near to Singapore, and north of our country is, oh, sorry. We have our agriculture sector is about 7.4% contribute to our GDP, which is contribute to two main sectors, which is non-food crop, mainly for palm oil, rubber, and the other sections is for agro-food. It's total about 51.2 billion, and about 3.8% from our GDP. Although the numbers is small, however, it is contribute to our deep value chain activities economy, such as food and beverage service industries, wholesale and retail industries, processing industry, food and drink, and agro-food industry itself. Okay, what is agricultural practice? Agricultural practice, in our definition, is the practice, it's control and to reduce hazard during the supply chain from the farming preparations, land preparation and management in terms of production and harvesting, and also for the post-harvest handling and marketing. During all these activities in our agricultural activities toward producing a good quality products, food safety, and besides for the environment sustainability, and also for the workers' health and welfare. Okay, in terms of developing this certification scheme, we do takes a guideline and standard from the ASEAN GAP, which is the 10 countries in ASEAN that developed the the guidelines for good agriculture practice in ASEAN. Therefore, in our country itself, we do have this document called Malaysian Standard, which is being developed by various departments and to give their opinions and expert advice in how those elements that should be provided in this standard. Otherwise, in for organic, ASEAN also take a very serious approach in developing the ASEAN standard for organic agriculture, which is been using by the 10 countries of ASEAN. And also, as in Malaysia, we have already aligned our standard with the ASEAN standard of organic agriculture. Okay, what is my organic certification scheme? This is certification scheme is designed and implemented since 2003 to recognize organically cultivated farm. Mainly is for food crops. This is the logo that we can use in the product after the farm gets certified. Okay, the general principles in this standard or organic certification scheme is covers six main items to provide a quality ecosystem in our agriculture. Firstly, is about conserving soil and water, prevent loss and prevent erosion and loss of topsoil, especially those who land that is second is no open burning is allowed. However, it's only can be done for those to reduce pest and disease, but this control must be in a control measures. And we have promote recycling, and lastly is not to exploit water resource. Second item is for prevention of degradation, manage pest, weed and disease, and also the soil's health. Conversions and diversity, how if you want to convert your conventional farm to organic farm, and the farm management itself, the crop rotation must be done in the farm to make sure the the farm is maintained to sustain in the long term. Otherwise, farmer has to be more concerned about integrity of the farm itself. They have to keep the records, all those by inputs and everything they use in the farm. They have to record and have to labels the product for marketing. And beside or in organic, they have to do the maintenance because I think for organic production is an ongoing commitment. It's not an easy things to promote to maintain an organic environment in the farm. And lastly, it's about to avoid contamination. Measures taken to avoid contamination and the monitoring system in the farm itself. Okay. For the certification requirement, there are 11 elements that farmers has to comply in terms getting this certification. First is about traceability, whereas they have to be able to make a system to trace the product in the markets. Where in this certification scheme, we provide the registration number that we can use in the product later in the marketing, so that when you go to you can check the numbers on the product, and then you can check with the website. In our website, you can trace the farm that produced the products. And then the second item is about record keeping and auditing. The farmers has to keep their farm record at least for 6 months. So in order to minimize of the risk for anything using in the farm. So if anything's happen regarding the use of pesticide, using of inputs or everything in the farm, they have records what they've been using at the farm at the time. Thirdly, is about site history, where site history is important because we want to know the previous activity at the farm, so we can manage any potential hazard or anything could happen in the farm itself. About harvesting, farmers has to be able not to um, to harvest their product accordingly with the label. The organic produce should not be labeled as non-organic produce. This is the integrity. So because our as a consumer, they want the organic product. Yeah. Okay. About that is about things about also about food harvest handling. So, they have to manage to do the best food harvest handling in the farm. Yeah. According to the types of crops they are producing, and also about the packaging. Pesticide residue and analysis of the produce, each of the product will be sent to the lab for the analysis residue. For the organic certification, they must not have the MRL residue, pesticide residue in the produce because it's organically produced, right? And then about waste and pollution management, they have to control the pollutions and waste from the farm accordingly. And about workers' health welfare, they have to maintain about their workers' health and their workplace and make it suitable for their workplace. Yeah? And the workers has to be legally working in the country or have the documentation needed if there's involved in foreign workers. Also about environmental issues, where the farmers has to be alert about any environmental issues regarding their farm, and they have to have the records of complaints, and if any complaints about their farm, they have to record it and take further action regarding that complaint. So all of these 11 elements must be compliant. 100% must be compliant. It's major must. If one of these element is not compliant, they won't get the certification. Okay. Okay, what are we doing in the certification? First, at the first time we go to the farm and give their advisory and internal audit advisory and those training to the farmers about the elements needed in this certification. Second, we do the site inspection where our soil division and will come and do the risk analysis and will check on their sites whether there's legally a land or any risk regarding the soil control or any measures regarding land should be taken in the farm. After they pass the site inspection, they will go to the external audit. External audit will be doing the audit about the agronomical practice in the farm, where we check about the farm records and anything doing with the farm activities itself from the at the growing stage of the plant. And lastly, we do the sample analysis where the samples of the produce from the farm will be taken to the lab to do the MRL analysis where they have to comply with the standard of MRL in the country. So if those farm comply all these 4 items, they will eligible for this certification. Okay. After those activity been done and they pass everything, we I'm as a secretariat, we will conduct the meeting and later we will come with the certificate of this certificate of my organic certifications, where this certification is valid for 1 year. They can renew it every year. So why is only 1 year? Because organic is not so what we can say is in our country it's not easy to plant everything in organic, so that we have to make sure that the farm is follow the guidelines for organic productions. Okay. This is the example of a certified farm, which is this Sri Lovely Organic Farm located in Kedah, Malaysia. They are paddy plantation, which is located remotely, and other than production, they also be doing the agritourism activities where the tourists can experience the activities regarding paddy plantation in the field. Okay, all right. This is some of the samples of the product in the market. The certified organic. Please look at the logo, organic mark at the product. So this is one of our farmers who got the certification from us. There's a logo in the produce. They can put the mark on the produce. So it can be added as a value added for their produce, because in Malaysia, slightly organic produce much more get higher value than conventional products. Okay, that's a little bit about my organic certification scheme. Is there any questions about this before I move on to my second part about gap certifications?
Yes, Ms. Ari, actually, we have a question that was posed in the
Yeah.
question and answer box. In this regard, I kindly invite everybody that has questions to please write them there so that we
Yeah.
either answer them live or Ms. Azri and the other panelists can answer them during the webinar. The question is the following. So you mentioned about pesticide residue analysis of produce. Does it
Yeah.
mean pesticides are permitted to use?
No, but for organic certified product, certified farm, no, pesticide cannot be used. Synthetic pesticide cannot be used in the farm. So it just there's in this analysis, the result must be no pesticide residue detected during the test. So they can get the certification. Okay,
Thank
let me
you.
move.
Another question, sorry, last one. Let's say we take two per each presentation, and then the others we can answer them in the box. Do you have set microbial inputs as mandatory in this organic certification?
Okay, for microbe, we only doing it when it's necessary. Our site inspector will do the checking at the farm, so they see any potential hazard regarding microbes, and we are we will do if there any hazard. Otherwise, for microbe, we only we only do the analysis for produce that we eat fresh, such as cucumbers, salads, and tomatoes. Other than that, it's not compulsory. It is we're doing that when it is got any potential hazard regarding that matter. Okay.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
All
Please
right.
proceed, and just to let you know, there are another couple of questions in the chat box. So if you can
Right.
please answer them at the end of your presentation. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's me move on to my second part. Is about Malaysia Good Agriculture Practice Certification Scheme. Is my GAP. My is from stand for Malaysia. GAP is Good Agriculture Practice. Okay, it's also designed and implemented since 2002 by Department of Agriculture to acknowledge farm that applying good agriculture practice to produce safe and quality product, sustainable and to ensure the safety and welfare of the workers. We have four scope in MyGap, which is MyGap AM, Apini, and Meliponini. This is for beekeeping. And MyGap TBM, non-food crop. And lastly, our latest scope is MyGap pesticide free in the year 2022. For all information, Malaysia currently only government doing the GAP certification scheme, GAP certification scheme, yeah, for food crops. We don't have any private certification body doing the good this certification. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, started in 2002 for food crop, mainly for fruit and vegetables, and non-food crop implemented since 2021 for ornamentals and floriculture industries. MyGap EM for bee and stingless beekeeping plantation, and since implemented since 2019. The main element for this certification is also same as organic to make sure that food safety, the quality assurance of the products, workers' occupational health and welfare, and also promoting the sustainable environment in agriculture. Okay, this is our latest scope. Is MyGap pesticide free. This is the certification to promote agriculture without using synthetic pesticide. So they could add value added to the produce. Okay, for GAP certification, we have 17 elements. Is much more compared to less organic products. We have additional about planting material and rootstock in this item, and soil and substrate management, because of course we know that we are using those input like fertilizers and everything in this farms activities, and water management and crop protections and everything. In the scope, we cover everything in this certification scheme. By this 17 element, we sub it to another 100, and I think 178 sub elements that have been go through in order to get this certification. Okay, category of the elements. From the 70 elements set in the scheme, it is divided into 3 categories, which is major mass, minor mass, and encourage. Which is the major mass is the condition that must be complied, otherwise causing serious impact to the environment, food safety, and workers' welfare. And minor mass, it must be followed, but the impact is not so serious. While encourage, the condition is not mandatory, but is recommended in the standard. Well, for major mass, there are items that must be complied 100%. However, there are things about what I've mentioned earlier, about 178. There's for minor mass, they have to comply 95% of the elements in the minor mass item, and for encourage is 50%. Okay, this is our MyGap certificate. It's valid for 2 years and it can be renewed, and it's signed by our Director General of Agriculture. And in the certificate, we have the tracking number of this MyGap numbers that you can check it validity of the products in our website. Whether you want to check where's is it the legality of this farm, yeah. But sometimes it do happen that other people are using numbers, certificate numbers from others farm, yeah. But then you can check it with in our website. Okay, who can apply for both MyGap and MyOrganic? Everybody can apply the certification as long as you have the farm. It is open to our individual farmers, private companies, private companies, agencies, and statutory bodies. Sometimes those agencies in our country also got agriculture farm that can be certified, yeah, and they sell product to the market. Okay, the requirement to apply for the certification, that land must be legally valid. Yeah, you have to get the permission from the owner of the farm, or you have to have your own land. And if it rented, you have to get the agreement rented farms. Okay, then planted field had been planted and start to yield. If you are planting those long periods plant, it is recommended that you apply during the after the plant already producing, yeah, and the produce for sale for domestic or export market. Okay, that's certification process. As mentioned earlier, it must go to a site inspection, internal audit, external audit by the auditors, sample analysis, and certification committee meeting. Okay, mostly we can ensure that this process mainly taken about 90 working days if everything is comply, and the application form is complete and SPAPS is ready. The process will be taken about 90 working days. Okay. Okay, this is about some of numbers about the certification for both MyGap and MyOrganic. For MyGap, it's for conventional farming. We have already certified 11,832 farms over the countries. And for MyOrganic, we managed to get about 336 farms certified. Okay. However, in doing this certification, we also have challenges in terms of promoting these activities. Okay. First is about low demand for MyGap and MyOrganic products. Consumers are still not so much knowing about the importance and the benefits of the MyGaps and MyOrganics products, yeah, because sometimes those certified product is sells higher than other products. Second, in what we are having is that farmers expect more benefit after being certified, because they didn't see the direct benefit being certified. After being certified, the impact of the environments of the workers on all those things takes time to be to show, so that they are expecting benefit in terms of their incomes, their price of the products. So what we are doing now, we are trying to doing more promotion about food safety in the country. So because this is a certification for primary production, so promotional activities must be done regularly and covers all of the age of the consumers, start from the kids, yeah? And then second, for the farmers, we are doing awareness by our extension officers at the field as to promote to the farmers about their role and integrity as a producer toward producing safe food to the human and to the people, all the people especially. So I think it's still a long way to go for us, but we are hoping that we can get as many people, as many farmers as possible to get the certification in the future. Okay, thank you. That's all from me. Have anything you want to know about more about this certification scheme, you can go to our Facebook account as stated in the slide, or also you can go to our website at www.doa.gov.my and you go to the certification, and you will come with the details of the certification itself in the web. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Azri. And again, can I kindly ask you to please have a look at the questions?
Lucrezia,
Sorry, can you hear me?
okay.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I can't hear you.
I was thanking you for your presentation, and I was kindly asking you to please have a look at the questions that participants posed in the chat box, and also the ones that they posed in the question and answer box. With this regard, I'm kindly asking participants to prefer posting their questions on the questions and answer box so that we keep everything in one place. And maybe just to conclude your presentation, can you please answer a question that actually comes from the Philippines? Colleagues from the Philippines are asking, how did you align the Malaysian organic and GAP standards with the Asian organic agriculture and Asian GAP standards? Do you have a separate standard for organic inputs like compost, biofertilizers, and biocontrol agents?
Oh, okay. During the alignment or process of the standards, we provide our standard to the others ASEAN country members in the working group to make a peer review on our documentation. So some of actually our standards have been, I think it's been developed before the ASEAN standard was made. So that in terms of developing the ASEAN standards, some of the inputs are from uh, uh, members itself, so that uh, we do follow all those annexes and what we call that uh, the guideline in the standard itself. Maybe I could answer it later in the chat box.
Thank you very much. Another participant asked how we can encourage farmers to apply GAP or organic, and this is actually something that I would like to discuss with you also in more details. Because one of the purposes of this webinar is really like to share and learn from each other, but also to support each other. So in order to do so, allow me to launch a poll so that we start interacting even more with our participants. And the poll is the following. Do you have similar certification schemes to the ones presented by Ms. Azri in your country? Yes or no? And then if yes, can you please write something about it in the chat box? So maybe you can tell us the name of the certification scheme and the name of your country. Then I will try, my proposal is that I try to track all of this down, and maybe we can initiate a discussion by email with a group of people that deals with certification schemes, and we can see how we can like 35 answer to present, and most of participants are saying that they have something similar in their country. So as I said, my suggestion is that we
Lucrezia, your connection is very unstable. Sometimes we are missing you.
I'm very sorry. What I was saying was that my proposal is that we bring this discussion, we move this discussion to a small group of people and countries, and we see how each country are moving forward in terms of certification, and therefore if there are some suggestions that, well, they can give to Malaysia, or maybe that Malaysia can give to them. Please remember to write in the chat the name of your certification scheme and also the name of your country so that I can take it up after the webinar. I see a hand up from Mr. Dr. Muhammad Imran. I will quickly give him the floor for a short intervention, please. Dr. Muhammad, if you like to talk, I enable you to do so.
I think you need to unmute. Huh?
Okay, I see another participants that would like to speak. Dr. Shamsholla Ayubi, please.
Yes, you hear me?
Yes. Please go ahead. Okay. unfortunately, I cannot hear these participants. My proposal is that we move to the next session that is about international award. As an introduction to the next session, we have a nice video from Thailand. I'm kindly asking Isabel to share it.
Autonomous University of Mexico, United Mexico. Right now we would like to congratulations with the winner of this year. So right now, so please give a round of applause for welcome Professor Dr. Elizabeth Salilo Lobedo and Mr. Acel Calon Gonzalez right here. Congratulations with both of you.
Isabel, I don't know if it was just me, but I couldn't see the rest of the video. It just stopped.
No, this is how the video stops. Ends, Lucrezia.
Ah, okay.
It is a very short video. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, because as you can see, I have some problems related to my connection. I'm very sorry. Okay, thank you very much for playing the video, Isa. On behalf of FAO, I would like to thank the government of Thailand for their major efforts on the promotion of sustainable soil management globally, so that I'm now passing the floor to Mr. Pitayakon Limtong, National Focal Point to the Global Soil Partnership of Thailand. Dr. Pitayakon, the floor is yours.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I cannot open my. Okay.
We can hear you.
Yes, thank you, Lucrezia. I would like to use this good opportunity to express deep appreciation and sincerely thank to the GSP and FAO Regional Office of Asia and Pacific, who organized not only the valuable webinar here and also several activities in strengthening in the importance of the healthy soil and also advocating for the sustainable management of the soil resources. For the King Bhumibol World Soil Day Award, Thailand respects the importance of the soil, and therefore we propose the proclamation of the World Soil Day and on every 5th of December, and also the International Year of Soil on 2015. Thailand would like to encourage the World Soil Day by establishing the King Bhumibol World Soil Days Award, using this important day of the 5th December to the highest honor for the King Rama IX of Thailand, and to support the organization of the GSP member countries to implement the sustainable soil and land management, and also celebrate World Soil Day activity in the land. World Soil Day serves as a tool for the awareness raising its crucial role to help the promote of the importance of the soil conservation and sustainable land management practice across the various sectors, including agriculture, environment, education, and also policy making. I would like to let you have information in detail in the GSP FAO website, especially about the application and submission for this award. And in the last GSP plenary assembly 2 months ago, they has already established the international decade of soil from 2025 to 35. And now it is in the process of endorsement by the APO and UN. Thailand would like to thanks on your support in this matter that we have several creative activity and also event to the motivate, stimulate, and also accurate in sustainable soil management for the healthy soil and healthy food to all stakeholders in your countries, from the policymaker till to the local land user. Thank you, Lucasia.
Many thanks, Mr. Pitayakon, for this insight and for participating to this webinar. Thank you very much. Now, getting into...
Sorry, the last matter, it's about several countries also request for the news logo of the World Soil Day. I think GSP also looking on that and have it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'm sure that Isabel will touch on this in her presentation, because indeed now we are getting into the core of discussing international awards. So it's a pleasure to introduce you to Ms. Isabel Verbeke, Land and Water Officer at the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. She joined FAO in 2002 and the Global Soil Partnership Secretariat in 2012 when it was established. In her role, she leads the communication team and is responsible for crafting and implementing the GSP communication strategy, including advocacy efforts with partners and the development and coordination of communication campaigns. She played a pivotal role in rolling out initiatives like the World Soil Day and the International Year of Soils that experienced a remarkable growth under her leadership. She oversees the maintenance of 10 FAO soil-related websites, manages the publication workflow related to soil matters, and coordinates the organization and communication components of political scientific symposia on soil at FAO. Ms. Verbeke, we are curious to learn about the World Soil Day celebration and the related awards. The floor is yours. We cannot hear you, You have to unmute.
Yeah, me, sorry. Thank you so much, Lucrezia, for inviting me to present the soil prizes and the World Soil Day. I will give a bit of background. So how long do I have? About 15 minutes now, because I think we are a bit late on the agenda. 15 minutes, is that fine?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. So, World Soil Day. I think you all know now about the World Soil Day. It's a very important appointment for all soil scientists, but not only. Now, many citizens worldwide are engaged and celebrate soil on that day or around that day. I will get back to that later. So it's a recent day, but still it's one of the most successful one on the UN agenda. So World Soil Day over the years. So the first celebration started in 2014. There were about 10 events celebrated worldwide. Back at that time, then in 2015, it was International Year of Soil that also kicked up a large communication campaign on soil. And then 2016, 17, and so on, we decided to adopt a team. So this team is endorsed by the GSP plenary assembly. So partners, country, they endorse the team that we will focus on. So it was pulses in 2016 because it was also the International Year of Pulses. In 2017, it was caring for the planet, so a very broad approach. Then 18, it was pollution, 19, erosion, 20, soil biodiversity, 21, salt affected soil, 22, which was the last 5th December, was soils where food begins. And food begins and food nutrition, soil fertility, let's say, and how this team is chosen. Also, it's one of the main threat on soil, so one of the soil threat as identified by the status of the World Soil Resources, which was launched in 2015. So I will tell you more on the next edition of the World Soil Day. Now, the Global Symposium. So since 2017, we also organize a global symposium. So those are science policy symposium, which debate, again, one of the soil threat. So it's policy and science joining together. Of course, there are also many other type of participants, but still it's really focusing on science, bringing policymakers on board. So last edition of World Soil Day, it was soils where food begins. So the whole world was celebrating soil under this topic. So here I want to share with you some statistic indicators. They are key. I will get back also to that soon. They are key to demonstrate results. I mean, in our work, in our life, we are always assessed by numbers, and I'm pleased to share with you the key numbers of the last World Soil Day campaign. So we had over 2,300 events pinned on the map. So a huge number of events compared to 2014, when we hardly reached 10 events. So it really grew, and that is great. Again, a big thank you to Thailand, because many events were pinned on the map and were coming from Thailand, who was celebrating soil all over the country. The FAO tweets, so through the corporate channel, the country channel, the land and water division where the GSP is hosted, reached 145 million users. FAO and UN website, because we also work closely with UN website that have static page in many languages. So it totalized a lot of page views. The hashtag that was trending on Twitter, reaching 488 million users. Many people attended the official ceremony that was held here in headquarters. So it was great to have many people attending in presence, but also a lot of people. That's the power now of the virtual event. So many people joined for a great celebration. Then we did a lot of contests that involved many people worldwide, especially youth. And last but not least, very important, the classical, the standard press, not only social media, but the newspaper. We had over 700 news articles read by nearly 4 billion people. If you go to the World Soil Day website under press, you will find all the articles that were published. So everything is there as evidence. So the events, as usual, a lot of events were organized, from ceremonies to soil paintings, marathon, some theater piece also, field excursion, webinar. So again, a wide range. There are many more than that. I cannot list them all, but this is how people celebrated soil. Again, I mean, sometimes we cannot organize like a very official and large ceremonies involving minister and so on, but just having school student gathering in the back of their school celebrating soil, this is a World Soil Day celebration. So that's very important. Now the two soil prize, and that's the reason why we are here today. It's two prize, they have two different objectives, two process and two different audience. So I will start with the Glinka that was launched in 2016. So that was the first award that was organized. So the prize is an annual award that is addressing to Global Soil Partnership members, individual or organization that are committed to solve a national, regional, or local problem of soil degradation. So it has also another objective, which is to raise awareness among policymakers and the public about solutions, to show how people, scientists, organization, association, what they've been doing to address soil degradation. So the prize consists of a Glinka medal, a check of $15,000 US, which is done in memory of the preeminent Russian scientist Konstantin Glinka. And this award was made possible thanks to the financial support of the Russian Federation. So how to apply? We have this here, you can see, if you want, after I can share my screen also with the website of the Glinka. So here you have the URL. You have the page on the Glinka. You can download here the nomination form. So it's quite an easy process. So now how to apply. So self-nomination are not allowed. You cannot say, I want to apply for the Glinka. No. Again, the process for the World Soil Day Award is different, but for the Glinka, it should be an official GSP focal point or a GSP partners or any public entities, because public entities are partners by default of the GSP. So any of those three actors can nominate you. Of course, you can, if you intend to apply to the Glinka, you can work together with the focal point, the partners, or the minister that is nominating you. But it cannot be you saying, I'm applying for the Glinka. So once the nomination form is completed, you need to send it to the GSP Secretariat. I forgot here to put the deadline, which is very important. Of course, everything is on the website, but it has to be submitted before the end of the month. It's 30th of September. So how is the process? So 30th of September, the GSP Secretariat will review all the application and make sure that they are eligible. By eligible, the first thing we check is that the nomination comes from one of those three actors that I described before, that the dossier is complete. There are two different parts, so we make sure that everything is fully compiled. Once compiled, the Secretariat share it with the selection committee. So we send everything to the selection committee. The GSP Secretariat is nobody from the GSP Secretariat is voting. It's the selection committee that makes its assessment. And you see here, I put down the composition of the selection committee. So you have the 8 chairs of the Regional Soil Partnership, the chair of the ITPS, and the chair of the Global Soil Partnership, the chair of the GSP Plenary Assembly. Yeah? So this year, the chair was from the NENA region, and he will make the assessment also. So what are the key criteria? So basically, they are very much in line with the World Soil Charter. So I advise you to check the World Soil Charter, the revised World Soil Charter, which is on the GSP FP resource page, or you just typed in Google Revise World Soil Charter. It's a very short document, but the achievement must be in line with preservation of the environment, improvement of food security, poverty alleviation, and sustainable development. Of course, all should be framed out in the perspective of soil. Then the main field to be addressed, you can see here. I mean, if all are ticked, fantastic. Of course, it's very difficult that such all fields are addressed by the work of the nominee, but the more, the best, let's say. Now, some tips. So the application per se is quite straightforward. It's organized in two different parts. You have a number of questions with a maximum numbers of words, so it has to be rather concise. Sorry. Then there is the annex. The annex is very important. And in there, I really advise to put as much material as possible. So I've just put down some examples, the publication, of course, newspaper article, papers in scientific journals, leaflet and brochure, photographs, links to video, to TV program, to, again, not everything. Like if you are a soil scientist, you will have more of those kind of documents. Now, if you are an association that work on the ground with local actors, maybe you will have more of those kind of annexes. What is important is that it demonstrates and support the result and the impacts that you made. So I'm sharing here the winner. So as I told you, the Glinka was launched in 2016. The first institute that received the prize was an institute in Colombia for their work on soil information. Then again, it went to South America in 2017 to an association for their work on soil erosion. 2018, it was an eminent soil scientist from China. Then 2019, Professor Lal. Then 2020, it was Mr. Montanarella from the European Commission for all his work in transferring from science to scientific knowledge on soil into policy. 2021, so it was a scientist from the Republic of the Congo. And last year, it was Dr. Patra that is here with us today, and he will tell you everything about maybe his career and the Glinka Prize. So let's move now to the King Bhumibol World Soil Day Award. So at the 6th GSP Plenary Assembly, this award was endorsed to recognize individuals and institutions that organize with success a World Soil Day event. So this prize was made possible to the financial support of the Kingdom of Thailand. So, and yeah, very important, these awards honor the late King Bhumibol Abdullayev for his dedication work on sustainable soil management. So that is very important to mention, and you can also recognize him on the medal. So the award consists of the medal that you could see here, the $15,000 check, and a trip to Thailand to receive the prize. And that's the short video that you saw. It was a ceremony of last year's celebration. And the award was offered to the Mexican University. I will get back to this after. Sorry, I'm going. Okay, so how to apply? Same process, very easy. You go on the World Soil Day website and the World Soil Day Award. Here you see you have a lot of information about the awards, different edition. Same for Glinka. We prepare each year, we prepare a short video that presents the prize and then that presents the winner. So if you want to learn more about the winner of the past World Soil Day Awards, please check that. You have a short brochure also that explains what it is about. And here you can download the application form 2023. Yeah? So how to apply? I just mentioned that the World Soil Day event should follow the official World Soil Day theme of that year's campaign. So any application that will come for this year World Soil Day Award 23 is referring to the campaign of World Soil Day 22. So it's not on soil and water, which is coming this year. It's not on salt affected soil, it was in 21. It's about soils where food begins. Huh? Okay, so that's very important. So again, you compile the nomination form, which is also rather straightforward. You submit it here. Self-nomination are possible. Like you did an amazing event, or when I say event, it has many categories. I will explain this later, but I call it events to be very generic. So you organized an amazing event last year for World Soil Day. You can self-nominate yourself. You just compile the nomination form. If you have support from other institutions that say, I work with them, that's also good and something that you can annex. So how does the process is just the same as for the Glinka. The GSP secretariat receives the application, control, check that everything is fine, and that the team is respected, because this is something sometimes some application are, for example, referring to the year campaign and say, I'm going to do that. No, you need to explain what you did last year, because this is not considered and we need to remove those applications. And then the team, it's very important that at least part of the event was focusing on the World Soil Day team. We are a bit flexible, at least for example, when it was salt affected soils, we understood at that time that some countries do not have any issues of soil salinity, sodicity. So what we said at that time is that, okay, mention that it's the theme, but do not strictly focus on that if your country or your region are not affected with soil salinity. So I hope this is clear. And so let's go back to the process. Once compiled, we share the application with the selection committee, and we announce the winner officially on 5th of December. So the selection committee is the same as for the Glinka, apart from an IUSS representative that is also voting for that award. So who can apply? Many people can apply, individual, institution, NGO. Again, this is less strict than for the Glinka. And the time frame, I mean, we don't celebrate World Soil Day in March or April. No, it should be celebrated not strictly on the 5th, because sometimes it's difficult, and also there are so many events on the 5th that we have some flexibility for the date, as long as it's around the 15th of December. If you organize a pre-launch, a pre-campaign, that is fine, but still the key, the momentum is, I mean, the peak is there on around the 5th of December. So here I've put down all those events that I was mentioning when I said it's not only an official ceremony, it can take the form of all of those events, okay? So some key criteria I've been thinking on trying to provide you with some elements to consider when you compile the form. So the event type that I described before, and show that you have engaged with other institutes. That's very good because it shows collaboration. I mean, this is SDG 17. I mean, we need to engage with the other and spread the voice of soil. Okay, so was the event co-organized? Was the government involved? Then communication material and creativity, that's also very important. Did you prepare any communication material, dedicated communication material for that? Did you use the visual that was prepared by FAO, the GSP? I mean, the web page is always full of poster, banners, message. So did you did you use also the visual that we prepared? Did you release any publication in local language? How was the creativity and the quality of the product? And last but not least, media coverage and audience reach. So statistic on social media shares include that. That's very important. You know, nowadays social medias are key. Web traffic, the number of people reach, numbers. As I share, I explain you, I gave you some statistic about World Soil Day, and this is very important to give that. Press release mentioned that nationally, even in local languages, but put newspaper pictures or a link to the page, any URL. Media channels, TV shows, like I think in Nigeria when they won the World Soil Day Award, they were everywhere on the TV, and that was great to see, and they put all of this information. Then the public engagement, such as the number of people that attended the event, any feedback from participants, that's also nice. I mean, to see how participants appreciate the celebration. So again, here I'm including some other information. So the impact metrics that I mentioned, any case, stories or success story, communication material, include copies, share the photograph and videos from your event, workshop, press release and media coverage. Media analytics, include the statements or endorsement from key stakeholders, how the community, the youth, the women, how engaged they were, photograph or links to audio or video. And yeah, just to finish the presentation, include all that shows and support the result and associated impacts. When you provide a well-documented and comprehensive application, you of course enhance your chance of showcasing how amazing your event was. So do not only say it, but demonstrate it with evidence. Here very briefly, the past winner of the King Bhumibol World Soil Day Award. So in 2018, it was an NGO in Bangladesh that won the prize. They did amazing also on the news. That was great. In 2019, Costa Rica, they also did amazing things. I remember this hand that anyway, I think it's better you watch a small video, and they did something really, really nice, very powerful. Then ICA from India, that one in 2020, they did a lot and they work a lot with the community. Nigeria, that I was mentioning before, in 2021, and last year the Institute of Geology, so UNAM, the University of Mexico, they work a lot with youth, and that was very good too. So now I cannot close my presentation without telling you that World Soil Day, it's not tomorrow, but it's in December. So we are getting ready. We are preparing our campaign material. So be ready. And the theme this year is soil and water, a source of life, because indeed they are the lifeblood of our planet, and we need to work together. And we will really focus and show how they are closely linked and the source of life. So I'm done. I thank you very much for your attention, and I'm of course available if you have any question. I hope everything was clear and that you learned a lot about those 2 hours. Thank you.
Many thanks, Isabel, for your very good presentation. It was very informative. I, as usual, invite participants to please ask their question in the question and answer box. And in order to further motivate you to compete for these awards and not to be afraid to take the challenge, I would like, again, just a second, I share my screen. I would like to invite the winner, not only of the Glinka Award in 2022, but also I think the winner of the World Soil Day Award in 2020, Dr. Ashok Patra, to answer a few questions. So let me tell you a bit more about Dr. Ashok first. So he is an emeritus scientist and former director of ICAR, so the Indian Institute of Soil Science in Bhopal. He was born in Bankura in India in 1960, and he did his MSc and PhD in soil science at the Indian Agricultural Research Institute in New Delhi. Thereafter, he was a postdoctoral visiting fellow at the International Crop Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropic in Hyderabad, at the Institute of Grassland and Environmental Research in the United Kingdom, at the CNRS Université of Lyon in France, and at the University of Notre Dame in the United States. As you can see in this slide, Dr. Patra had a rich career that included being a member of the Intergovernmental Technical Panel on Soil of the Global Soil Partnership, so FAO, and the president of the Indian Soil Science Society. His research area focuses on nitrogen cycling, soil health, sustainable soil management, soil biodiversity, climate change, carbon sequestration, and nanoparticles. So winning the Glinka World Soil Prize in 2022, and as I said, also the World Soil Day Award in 2020, was just the last of a series of international awards that he won in recognition of his hard work and achievements in the field of soil science. So Dr. Patra, thanks for being with us today. Today we have actually about 100 participants joining live, but we had 150 registrations to this webinar, just to point out the interest that the soil science community have on the topic. So we are all keen to learn what it takes to become an internationally recognized soil champion. And in order to do so, I would like to ask you a few questions, hoping that you can share some advices and tricks with the audience. So let's start with the first one. So we said that the Glinka World Soil Prize cannot be awarded by self-nomination, but you need of someone to nominate you to win the award. So can you please tell us, how did you get nominated for this award?
Good afternoon from India. First of all, thank you very much, Ms. Lucrezia Kaun, Land Management Officer, FAO, Bangkok, for this wonderful program and kindly inviting me to participate in this and an opportunity to share my experience with the participants. Thank you very much. Regarding your question, how I got nominated for this award, you know, as you already mentioned about my brief biodata, my career, so nicely. Thank you very much. And you know, just a few, you know, since the age of 20, I am, you know, deeply involved in soil science from my student life. So, you know, the long career, when I got this award, that was 33 years of my experience. With all the achievements I made, my early career, then mid-career, and then as director of a prestigious Indian Council of Agriculture Research Institute, that is Indian Institute of Soil Science. So my achievements, the innovations for the sustainable soil management, my publications and the previous different awards which I got in the country. So altogether, after you know, having a compilations, I approached to the GSP focal point of India, Dr. S.K. Chaudhuri, who is Deputy Director General Natural Resource Management of Indian Council of Agriculture Research. And I saw him, and he knows also, because very closely I worked with him as he's the Deputy Director General of the Council, and this institute is under Indian Council of Agriculture Research. So he was very much aware about my achievements and my contributions in the field of soil science for sustainable soil management. So I approached with my all achievements, and he kindly agreed to nominate me. So this was the second time nominations by him, and I'm thankful to FAO and the jury that I got selected for this prestigious global award. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Patra. So you competed, actually, you submitted the application twice. You didn't get it at first. You didn't give up. You submitted 2 times, and finally you got it last year.
Thank
you approached the national focal point for India, asking him to submit your name to the selection committee. So very good initiative. Thanks for giving this advice to the audience. Second question, how did you find the nomination process? Was it difficult to provide the needed documents?
The nomination process is simple. It can be made in a very short time, and my experience as you know, it can be made in 1 week time very comfortably, provided the informations are available in hand. But the important, as you also mentioned, one should decide, that I should make it by the due date and get nominated, because the focal points and also GSP partners nearby of any scientist or any individual who is devoted for soil science, and this can be made it by the particular nominator. So it is not that difficult, but provided the documents are all the informations are available. There are 3 sections in the nomination papers, and the part A, part B, and part C. And the part A, general, that is general information, and which can be made in a very short half an hour, 30 minutes it can be completed. The names and addresses, and nominators names, designation, addresses. So part A is very simple. Part important, where the achievements details of the achievements to be put, and the how there are 7 different subheads under the part B, where description of the achievements to be given, how these achievements are linked to the revised World Soil Charter, then how those achievements how connected with the GSP XNO pillars, and then and what kind of this degree, what degree these achievements of the nominee contributed to sustainable soil management. So like that, there are 7 different items which to be very well written, and every it is having the word limits. So altogether, I was calculating it was 4,500 words. The whole part B having 45, but very important. But those can be very well, completed. I feel in a week time also. So and then part C having annexes, all the documents, as already Ms. Isabel given a very detailed, informations what are the different documents. So all the different relevant supporting materials, such as the publications, and then the photographs, the different the working in the fields. So all different the contributions to be attached with the nomination document. Those are very important, because those will be the proof of one's contributions. So, and then another thing is the impact, the how much it is impacted the society and the country as a whole, whether any intentional dimension is there. So all those things are very well, the nomination paper is very well designed, and it can be completed very systematically, provided, having those information in hand. So this is what, and then, and the other things already explained by Isabel, and I feel it is quite easy and not at all difficult, and nomination process is quite simple. And if one desires and that I have to make it, it is very much possible. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So you said that it can be prepared within 1 week. So all participants to this webinar should be motivated to compete for the awards that has a deadline for the submission of applications set to be on the September 30. So they have, let's say, 3 weeks to prepare all material and submit their application through their national focal point. So it's feasible.
Yeah, very much feasible.
Thank you very much. So let me ask you, do you have any trick or suggestion to share on how to become a...
Yeah.
Could you hear my question?
Yeah,
Sorry, because my connection is breaking.
Yeah.
Do you have any trick or suggestion to share on how to become a soil champion?
Yes. And first of all, the achievements, once achievements, its impact, measurable impacts, very important in this case, and the innovations made to solve the soil constraints for improving the soil health and productivity for sustainable soil management. So these achievements to be very well presented in the nomination paper, extremely important. And then another thing is that the individuals who influences our farmers and concerned stakeholders of today and tomorrow, having successful collaborations and network to address pillars of actions of GSP, having national and international visibility and impact, very important. And then what I feel, these achievements, they are the measurable, the informations, the data, how much maybe in a society or in a national level it has impacted. For example, any particular technology it developed, how far it has reached to the different stakeholders, particularly the farmers, what kind of income it has generated, and how it impacted the national level. If that kind of information is that brings that attentions of the jury, and very much expected will get a better chance. And then as you know, earlier also I mentioned the nomination documentation, extremely important, where all the informations from the publications, the technologies, or there any new methodologies, and how it had reached to the farmers. So all those things and adaptations and all should be very properly arranged and included in the annexure C of the document. These are some of the tricks. And another thing is that one should not despair that in one chance if it is not successful, should not try for the second time. No, not at all. This is a very prestigious award, and I feel it was a rare opportunity, and I feel myself a great opportunity. I got it. So my suggestion to all these prospective applicants, that you make it that I have to make the applications on time. It should be as best as possible, with the good colorful the cover page, and the questions which are asked in the nomination paper should be properly with data and all to be filled up, giving the impacts and connections to the national and the initiatives and efforts, and of course the international and the impacts if it is there. And if all these things are very properly made, I'm sure the success will be very nearby. And and not only in once, it should be, if necessary, it may be second time, third time. So I'm sure a very deeply committed worker having good achievements, it is definitely going to be successful. My all the best wishes.
Many thanks, Dr. Patra. Very last question before closing the webinar. Did receiving the award lead to any significant changes in your life beyond just gaining international recognition for your achievements?
Yeah, I have been, it is a great, immense satisfaction for me that my 33 years of dedicated service to soil science has been recognized by FAO by honoring me with this prestigious global prize. And yes, I get recognitions and appreciation in the fraternity of agricultural research, and especially the soil experts, the peers, whenever he or she comes to know about my achievement and honoring with this prize. And it gives me more confidence and also responsibilities to address various issues on soil's constraints issues, and how best their management can be made. And I also get the consultation from my colleagues and the the concerned stakeholders who having the different issues. So I get that recognitions at many times. So definitely that will make some changes in one's career. Even at the, I am emeritus scientist, but I feel my the recognitions at many times. So this is a great opportunity, and I'm blessed with this award. Very much thankful to FAO and colleagues like Isabel, you, and whoever were involved in the process, the jury, and definitely it has impacted my career as well. Thank you, Lucrezia.
Thank you very much, Dr. Patra, for sharing your experience with us, your tips and advices. This was the last question that I had for you. And thanks, of course, also for being today with us. We are very grateful. I take this opportunity to thank all speakers and panelists. So Ms. Azri from Malaysia, Ms. Isabel from the Global Soil Partnership, Mr. Pitayakon from Thailand, and of course, Mr. Patra from India. We are 5 minutes late, but before closing, allow me to share just a second my screen, and this will allow me to answer a few questions that were raised in the chat. So first of all, as I mentioned, we had 150 registered participants to this webinar, and 100 joined the webinar live. The recording of the webinar will be made available on this webpage. It's an event webpage of the FAO Regional Office for Asia and the Pacific. In here, you will see all the webinar that we are going to organize under the umbrella of the Asian Knowledge Hub on Sustainable Soil and Land Management. So at present, as you can see, we have this first webinar because the dates of the very technical one that will follow, this one on awareness raising, is still to be confirmed. But as I did this time, and also my colleagues did on social media, we will share information on the date and time of the upcoming webinars as soon as possible by different means, email, social media, and so on. So what you see here now is a registration link, but this registration link will be replaced with a video recording of the webinar. Regarding the presentations, I can make this available by email, no problem. I can send an email to all participants so that you can have a copy of them. And in case you need of, let's say, a certificate of participation to the webinar, I can also send you a sort of letter through an email that acknowledge that you participated to this webinar. What else? As we saw through this event, there are many countries that worked on national certification systems of good practices. I took note of the information that were shared by chat, and I will engage with those that provided this information for knowing more about it. And the proposal is that maybe we can establish a working group, or anyway, like organize maybe a dedicated webinar just on the topic of national certification systems, so that we can share and further learn from each other, no? Because already in the chat, some countries raise the same point mentioned by Malaysia. So there are some common challenges on the topic. We will follow it up in a separate event or a separate discussion group. I thank you very much for your participation. I'm sorry that my connection was not excellent. I will try to fix it in the future event. Again, thank you very much to all panelists and to all of you that actively participated to this first webinar of the series. I wish you a very good evening. Bye.
Very good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank
Bye.
you.